What's up, everybody? I'm John Ricard. I'm here with Jorge from the Raw Society, right? Give us just a couple of sentences. What is the Raw Society?
The Raw Society is a community for professional and non-professional photographers, and we teach and promote documentary and street photography as a community.
Right. Now, today we're talking about street photography, and in my mind, there's two broad categories of street photography. There's the candids, and then there are photos taken with permission.
Yes.
So we're going to demonstrate kind of the two techniques, how we do that approach, right? Which one of those two tends to be your approach?
I'm going to pick today the candid one.
Right.
I don't think there is one that is better than the other. I think it's okay to try both in different situations, but for the sake of the exercise, I think it's fun to see these different ways of doing it.
Right. So. What do you think is the strength of shooting the candids without permission? Like, what is valuable about doing that from a photographic perspective?
Well, I think that the candid part of photography, it's interesting because is when you're a fly in the wall, is when you don't affect what's going on, so you get these real moments. But that's it. It's the only benefit that I see.
Right. And I like that as well. And I do that pretty often. I'll do the candid approach. And I like where we are now, which is Times Square, because I have an excuse to get close to people.
Yeah.
That's the good. I think my one problem with the candid approach sometimes is I feel people are just lacking the courage to approach people and take a shot they want to take.
Yes.
So I'll see people using a 70 to 200 for candids, and they're too far away, or they're shooting a lot in the back of the head or buildings, and it's like, for me, the people are more interesting. And in order for me to get the good shot, sometimes that's a matter of me walking up to the person and saying, hey, can I get a shot of you? You know, can you look at my camera for a minute?
Yeah, I think that that approach of talking to people and contact with people is interesting, and definitely it works for many occasions and many reasons.
Right.
But also, I think that the way of doing this more candid photography, you don't need a telephoto lens. Actually, I'm going with a very wide lens today.
Right. What lens is that?
It's a 18. Would be a 28 in full frame.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, it's a APS-C sensor. So I think that actually the closer you get to people, the easier it gets as well.
Right.
Because imagine, it's almost impossible if I get this distance to you, you cannot believe that I'm taking your picture. Right?
And people don't think they're interesting, which is funny.
Exactly.
Right, so they figure you must be shooting that building because that
Something
building's
there.
way more interesting than me, but you're looking and seeing something like, no, I want this guy or that girl or that couple or whatever.
Usually the closer you are, the easier it gets for some reason.
Right.
And also the kind of photography that I do, I find interesting not only to take pictures of the people that is there, but also composing them and with the background.
Right.
I treat the background as a subject as well, so for me, it makes sense also to find a place that's interesting to frame and compose.
For me, that's usually the subway. I do almost all of my street photography in the subway because A, it lets me shoot close, and I love the background. I like the train, and then I focus on couples. It's usually what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, which is also tells a story when you are there.
Correct, right.
You're in a specific place.
Yeah, there's a lot of love in the subway. You'd be surprised.
So what I try to do when I find interesting is not only the candidness of the moments, but also how I work with the space. For me, it's important for my photography, it's important to the space, the location would be also a subject, so I always try to mix it. What I'm going to do is try to find spots that make sense, not only because of it's going to make me easy to compose, but also it tells something about the place, right?
right? How is this location for you, Times Square with all the people?
Well, I think that to me particularly, I don't find it the most interesting place. I have to say that I grew up in Barcelona, which is a very touristic place as well. So what it happens though is that it becomes easy to photograph because there's loads of people taking pictures and people is kind of used to it. So no one really look at you twice because you're taking pictures, right?
Right.
So
and you don't look suspicious, obviously, taking a picture in Times Square.
Exactly.
But see, for me, when I do the photos with permission, which I usually focus on the couples, the area that we're in right now, where we're on the street, is actually the worst area for me because everyone is already taking pictures. So then when I walk up and try to offer what I'm offering, it's like we're literally taking pictures now. Why do we need you to take a picture of us?
I think that's why it's interesting to do both approaches. Sometimes it makes sense to talk with people and to ask, and sometimes it doesn't.
So a lot of times what I'll do is I will set a time for myself. I'll say, I'm gonna work the street photography for an hour or 90 minutes, and whatever I get, I get. Sometimes I don't get anything, which of course is what I'm afraid of today, since we've got cameras rolling. I'm like, there's gonna be nothing to shoot.
It's probably, nothing is going to happen. We're not going to have anything interesting. But I think that to have a framework, to set some limits, it helps to get creative.
Yeah, if not, you'll be out here all night. So I just set a time, but let's just see what we can find. All right, let's walk.
You stay in this station?
Usually this station. I'll walk all the different parts of it, but usually this station, And then you're trying to read people. Like I usually look for couples, and like there's a couple, but like I just automatically feel they're gonna say no, so I'm not even gonna ask them, which I probably should, but I know, let's just go, I'm gonna ask them. We're gonna try to get a no on camera because I know they're gonna say no, but we're gonna try, let's go. All right, our couple is gone. They were going to say no anyway, so we didn't really miss out on anything, but we're going to walk some more. Now, so far I don't see any couples, but this station usually works because a lot of people are on dates in Times Square, and then you get them, hugging up on each other and kissing or whatever. But right now I don't see anybody.
Yeah, there are not.
They must have known we were coming.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one reason that I like to work the same location a lot of times is because I'll remember taking a good photograph all over this place. So I photographed a couple right where we're standing about a month or two ago, and I have a picture I love that I shot over there. So then when I'm walking around here, let's keep walking by the way, when I'm walking around here, I'm remembering, oh, I got a good shot here, I got a good shot here. Then it gives me hope that I can get another good shot today, because I know it's possible to get a good shot in this location.
And you also start to have a story about the place.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting as well.
What's up, guys? I'm a street photographer. I'm gonna get a quick shot of you, okay? Just keep doing what you're doing. Good. Can you look back at her 1 second? Just look at her. Look at her. Look at her a second. Like that. There you go. Nice. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. If you want, send me a message on Instagram. I'll send that to you, all right? Thank you, guys. You're looking good. So a shot like that, I don't actually like the picture, but for me, it's more about that interaction. It's about approaching them, because the more people I approach tonight, the stronger the approach will be. And for the approach to work, I have to have high energy. I have to look like I'm having fun. I have to look confident.
You have to get into the zone.
I call it getting in state, which is the same thing as in zone, but in my mind, it's like, I'll be walking around saying to myself, I'm not in state, I'm not in state. But when I'm in there, I can do a much better job of getting the permission. So if I can get their permission and I'm rolling off that high of them saying yes, makes it easier to go to the next couple. Hey, can I get your shot? Even though, again, that nothing was happening there. They weren't interacting with each other. And I'm not really interested in the shot of two people on the phone, but it was about the process of taking the picture rather than the final photo. What's up, guys? Can I get a quick shot of you guys? You guys look good. Come on, with the red hair. Look, just look really quick. Ready? All right. Now, normally in New York, you would get that shot. Like they said no, and I only took, like I pushed the button one time, but there was no shot for me because I didn't get the faces. But generally for me, that shot, I would have gotten it most of the time. One thing that stops photographers from approaching people is you're scared of the no.
Yeah.
But what I think you should do is try to get a certain number of no's. Like I said, I usually do this based on time. I'll say I'm going to stay out for 90 minutes. I'm going to stay out for 60 minutes. But I think an approach you could use would be to say, I am going to work this train station until I get 4 no's.
Yeah.
And
Or
then
10.
I'm going to go home. Or 10.
Yeah.
Or whatever that number is. But that way, it's like you're almost trying to get the no's.
Yeah.
And I think you'd be surprised at how many yeses
Yeah.
you get. Now, my last 2 were no's, right? The couple and the girl with the red hair.
Yeah.
But generally, I'm at about 75% yeses when I approach people.
Definitely.
How you doing? Love the hair. You mind if we get a quick shot of you? You're looking good. I might have a single. I'll give you $1. I got a single, I think, in my pocket, all right? We're going to try that. Let me just do the shot. I'm going to check, I promise you. Stay right there. 1 second, like that. Excellent. Can you lean into me a little bit? Like that. Now bring your chin up a little more. Nice. Excellent. Look amazing. What is your name? Kamisha. I'm John. Good to see you. I'm going to give you my card, and I'm going to find that $1, okay? So I was talking before, like I know for me, I have these rules in my head, and I generally don't speak. I don't photograph like homeless people.
Yeah.
Because remember you talked about a story. I know I'm not really telling a story. Like I'm not dedicating myself properly to really documenting their story properly. So I tend to not photograph people who are homeless. But then I might have someone like her. I don't know if she's homeless, if she's not. I'm asking her for a picture because I really did like her hair. The blonde hair with the dark roots looked really cool. So then if she asks for $1 or something, I don't mind giving it to her because I feel like if I can help her, then I'm good with that and have some little interaction with her. Try to find out her name or maybe talk to her for a minute so it doesn't feel to her like I'm just taking something from her and running away.
I don't think that there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you can help someone, they're helping you somehow as well, contributing with the picture, right? It's a collaboration somehow. So I think it's fine. I would say that definitely there is no right or wrong with this, but I would tell to people to try it. It's a beautiful thing to do street photography.
Right.
You meet people, you learn things, and you explore your own place.
Yeah, you know, a lot of times I photograph people on the street like this, like say the girl I tried to get with the red hair who said no. That's somebody that I might say if she contacted me on Instagram to get the picture, then I might say, oh, let me do a headshot on you. You know, come down to the studio where I do headshot and get a really cool picture because she did look cool with the afro. So yeah, a lot of times you do make that people connection. But you know, I'll tell you where I don't like being in terms of money and taking the pictures. You ever go to these really touristy areas where like they're making these crafts and then you're walking and everybody's trying to sell you this stuff that you just don't need, like, you know, some, I don't know, straw hat and sunglasses, and everybody's asking you for money and sales. I don't like photographing there because everybody's asking you for money and it's not fun.
I think that those are the kind of places where if you want to develop something, avoiding that part of it is when you need more time and you need access and you know, but that's a different thing. That's a different story.
Right, and you have to get to the real city because when you're in those areas, you're where the cruise ship parked. You're not in the real town, which for me is where the more interesting photos would be, is in the real town, not where the Carnival cruise dropped you off for 90 minutes, you know?
Definitely.
But let's do a couple more minutes on the Q train and see what we get, and we'll wrap there, all right?
Definitely.
All right, let's do it, man. What's up, guys? My name's John. I'm a street photographer. I photograph couples in the subway. You mind if I get a quick shot of you guys? Saw you guys from way over here. What's that? Okay, but I just take a quick shot. You just be with each other like you were. Be close. Like that. Hold on 1 second, guys. That's it. Look at him, though. Don't look at me. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. You look at him like that. Yeah. Excellent. Look, send me a message and I'll send you the picture, okay? Thank you guys. Appreciate you guys. Enjoy New York, all right? Thanks. All right, we're going to wrap. I thank you, brother. That was a lot of fun, right? These different approaches. But before we go, let's give them each one final tip, right? So what's one final tip you would give to people taking a candid approach to street photography? And I just want to remind everybody, we're not saying do one or the other. I shoot candids when I'm asking for permission. You also shoot with permission when you're shooting candid sometimes. We were just trying to illustrate the mindset of the two different approaches. But what's one tip you want to leave everybody with when they're doing the candid approach to street photography?
Yeah, I would say that for the candid part, it's very interesting to have in mind that you have to do a little bit of theater. And I would say that the closest you get, it's the easier it gets, but also do the act. Go look straight away. So imagine that the people is not going to worry about you because you are looking something behind. Is the theater. And I have seen people even do this kind of, can you move please? You're in my shot.
Yeah, they think they're in your shot and they move and you're thinking, oh, I'm taking a picture of you. That's kind of funny because they don't think they're interested.
Yeah, and I would say try it because once you do it once, you realize that you can do it.
So I think for me, the one tip I would say is this. You know when you're hired to photograph something, like say you're hired to photograph a wedding reception or album release party or something. So when you're in that room, you feel very empowered because you know you have been sent there to take photos and everyone else knows it. So when you're asking for permission, you're asking a certain way because you know you're going to get 100% yes. No one's really going to tell you no at an event where they're dressed up and you're the hired guy. So what I try to do when I'm photographing in a subway, I try to act with that same mindset, as if I know you're going to do the picture, as if this is my world, I'm hired to be here, I'm supposed to be doing this, and I'm just like, hey, let me get a shot of you guys. And as a reminder, where part of this comes from is what I call being in state, where you get that yes here, you get the yes there, and then I come to you, and I'm operating as if it's an automatic yes. I'm just assuming you're going to say yes, and I'm approaching you like this is the most normal thing and I'm supposed to be taking these pictures, and hopefully you're going to just go along with me and be like, oh, okay. Kind of like the last couple, they were so confused, but I'm just like, look here, and they're just like, okay, and they do it. So again, it's that no fear and that the way you approach.
Which is very interesting because neither your tip or mine is anything technical. It's the mindset.
That's interesting.
It's the act. Is how you approach the street.
And the interesting thing is, as far as the technical, you and I are both on the same page, by the way, because I'm using a Leica M10. You're using the X Pro, what number? X Pro 3, which is very similar to the Leica M10, and we're both at about 35 millimeters. So, and very minimal, just very minimal. And I think that is, if we're going to give a technical tip, it's get a wide angle lens, and as you said, and I may have said it if I didn't, get close. That's huge, right? Get close. All right? So this was good, man. We'll do it again at some point, all right?
Great.
Excellent, man. Thank you. Appreciate you.